The light's being all weird. There we go.
Perfect
We're
time.
live.
Now we're live. So, all right. So as people jump in live, you need to know we've got Steve Hunsaker. You've got 3 separate businesses, if I understand correctly. You've got Home Service Accelerator, where you're teaching people how to market and build a business. You've got Valley Christmas Lights there in Arizona, and also Valley Premier Lighting. Are the 2 lighting companies like sister companies, or are they separate? Or
yeah, I mean it's the same guys. It's 2 different brands, because we actually strategically made another brand to get a second Google business page in town for Christmas lights.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's a little black hat stuff for everybody. So everybody's like, isn't that kind of confusing with your brand? I'm like, you know what's not confusing? Having 2 Google business pages now that rank in the top 3 for Christmas light installation.
Yeah, that's it's not even an unfair advantage. It is an unfair advantage, but it's not an unethical or weird advantage.
They're completely separate EINs, separate warehouses, wink, wink, all of that.
Yeah, the whole thing. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I've got to ask you with your podcast, your studio area right there. I want it to be in a cave because you get that rock wall in the background. Like, tell me you're underground somewhere, like a secret lair.
This is a wallpaper. It's not even real rock, but on camera it looks like real rock. But if you actually walk up to the wall, you'll see wrinkles everywhere. It's actually like a really bad wallpaper installation job too. But with my lighting, it's like an Instagram model. You put a couple filters on it, you get the lighting right, and you can make a lot out of nothing.
That's right. That's cool. It actually looks like with the colored light down in the lower corner, it almost looks contoured, like shadow and relief. So
yeah, it's high class over here, Sid. High class. About $50 worth of wallpaper from Lowe's.
High class wallpaper. I'm waiting for somebody to start selling backdrops that look like paneling from a 1972 trailer house. I think that's coming back.
Wallpaper's coming back. Funny enough, speaking of home service, like that is actually coming back. Wallpaper installation.
Yeah. Yeah.
If anybody's listening and doesn't have one yet, there's your $1 million idea.
It's your next one.
No. This is it. I'm done. It's 2 businesses enough.
Okay. Now you have a sweetheart. Are you married? You have a fiance or girlfriend?
No, neither. I'm a single man.
Okay. So you don't have somebody that's going to tell you, dude, don't you have enough going on right now? You need one more business, an extra project. You need a thing.
No, I view my current stage that I'm in as a strategic advantage in the space, because I have no one or anything to have to answer to other than myself. So yeah, it's a strategic advantage for me. I've been traveling a lot this summer, and like I haven't been home I've been home 1 weekend out of the last 5. And I was actually just talking to my barber today about this. I was like, it's a lot, but I just know this stage of life I'm in right now that like I have a strategic advantage on my competitors, on everybody else who has like families and stuff going, and I don't. Yeah. So I'm just ripping it.
It is true. It is very true. Were you in Minneapolis with Dope Marketing just the other day?
I just posted a podcast like 5 minutes before we got on, where I interviewed Dave at Dope Marketing's headquarters. It's actually like one of my favorite interviews I've ever done.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. And he sent me that photo, and I was like, I was squinting up close, like, is that Steve? I couldn't really tell, but yeah, it was very cool.
I admire Dave a lot. Like Dave has become like a wonderful person at my stage of business to like run stuff by, and chatting with him was invaluable to me. That's kind of the funny thing about like doing the interviews on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, now that there's a little bit of traction on like the YouTube channel, we get a couple videos got 4,000, 5,000 views, which isn't viral. It's like, but in home services, it's super niche. Like those views are all high intent viewers, you know? And what's been interesting is like, dude, I'm able to have like 2-hour conversations with dudes that have like 15, maybe 20 years on me of like high level stuff, because of like the tiny bit of social media following that I've started to build with like Home Service Accelerator and everything else. But what it actually is like, dude, you know how much you'd have to pay to talk to like some of the guys that I have to talk to, that I get to talk to for free, just because of like what I do in the off season? It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. So interesting, fun backstory. JC says Dave's a great human. Do you know JC?
We've messaged back and forth on Facebook. He helped me out when we were outfitting our van in a Facebook comment. So shout out JC. JC, I'm actually adding a third seat to one of our cruise vans thanks to you.
Yeah, I saw that that thread about like what's the best vehicle, and then it was when I saw third seat, and I was like, oh, that's the killer move. Dave, I met Dave at the huge convention, the first one I ever went to. So I guess that was 8 years ago this year. We were in National Harbor, and he had just started Dope Marketing. He had like one or two guys with him, and they were extra gritty and just like super hustle mode. Like we're at a welcome reception having drinks, and guy kept coming around. He's like, "Hey, you guys need help with your marketing? Hey, you got like his associate was basically door to door selling everyone at the bar,
dude." I mean, he's like, that's why I think me and him get along so well. Is like we both bootstrapped our stuff from zero. He's obviously a lot further along with Dope, but like, yeah, I mean, you can tell when you talk to somebody like that, like the founders who like got it out of the mud, and then like some founders who maybe had some help. Like Dave got that shit out of the mud for sure.
And now he's built a substantial company, but it was 2 years ago. I saw one of his things like, I know Dave. Why have I never used him I need more lawn signs. So I ordered from them. And their process and their customer service was so good that I couldn't ignore it. I was like, wow, this
dude, and like, and like yard signs with them is the tip of the iceberg. The data automation with your CRM is the coolest thing they do. Like that's what got me in the door. Like to even like really try to have a conversation with Dave is I was like, dude, this is fascinating. Like some people use SendGym and like other things like that, but the way Dope does it with like the designing of the stuff too and the automation with your CRM. Like I'm a huge fan. So they're going to be at the huge. They're at the huge. Yeah,
they are. He messaged me that day and he's like, hey, we're already there for Christmas Light Contractors or Clippa 2 days prior. Can we get a booth there at the huge? So that brings me my first question is like you've been in business for 4.5. Is this your 5th season this year coming up?
Dude, this is our 6th.
6th. Okay.
This is our 6th. It's crazy.
But you've grown fast. And we talked, I had you on our podcast a few months ago, kind of got a little bit of the backstory, like it was here, boom. But then you made a decision. How did you accelerate and grow so fast just in the last 2 years? Because that's really when you hit it.
Yeah. The growth pretty much happened year 4 and year 5. I mean, I think the big thing for me is like, I have a pretty grossly like analytical mind with myself. And so usually like the mantra I like to live by, and it's certainly served me in these last 2 years, is like when I was getting the business going, like probably the biggest detrimental thing that I had early on was like, I like to blame external circumstances for why things weren't working out. And now like the change for me is like, my goal is to find a way to make everything that went wrong in the business my fault. Like, I don't care, like if the employee, whatever, if the customer's being a dick, if it's something like that, like find a way to make it your fault. Because then when it's 100% your fault, whether it's like, oh, this was a bad hire, that was a bad person. It's like, no, you hired them, your fault. Or your manager hired them, bad SOPs for the manager interviewing them, still your fault, Steve. And so what happened when I got in that frame, and I guess this is kind of like more high level woo stuff, but like what happened when I got in that frame specifically was like, then you just like have no excuse. It's like every single thing is like, okay, that broke, my fault. How do I fix it? And so what kind of happened with us was like, okay, close rate was bad. Okay, well, not really my sales guy's fault. I can only, train them so much. How do we fix close rate? Well, let's get an automation system. Let's get like speed to lead system, like a CRM, things like that, that actually reaches back to people. Cool. That problem's fixed. Close rate went up the next year. Average ticket went up the next year. Like lead to booked call or to booked quote rate went up the next year. That's good. And then it's like, what else broke? Last year, what broke is one of our install leads was not as good as the other two. So now this year I'm like, we can't just hire the bare minimum. Now we don't have that system break again. Now we're hiring 5 and hoping that all 5 are great, but knowing that if 1 or 2 start slacking, we're not with our pants between our ankles.
Yeah.
And so that's like, to me, that's it. Like
we found the real reason for your success.
Yeah. Scott's the real reason. Scott McQuaid's one of my, he's a little bit more East Valley than me. Like we very rarely run into each other. But Scott in the comments was a huge help for me during the early stages when things were, when the proverbial, what was hitting the fan.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, bringing back to what you're saying, it's like when you make everything your fault or you're taking responsibility for it, it's like once you own it, once you accept that responsibility, you own it, and then you can control it or change it. Because
Yeah.
if it's somebody else's fault, well,
Yeah, and I know that's like not super like crazy tactical. Like I don't know if you were asking that question for like, oh, is the marketing thing we changed? Like I can get tactical with you too, but like I would say like from a high level now, especially with Home Service Accelerator, like we've had 370 home service businesses come through it in the last like 13, 14 months. So I have unfettered access to so many home service business owners in the off season. Like, and so what I'm able to pick up on is like a lot of these trends I see in the industry, and like the dudes that win outside of just me, because like I've won on a small scale, like compare me to someone, everything's relative, right? But like for what I wanted to do 5 years ago, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm winning. It's great in my own standards. But what I notice is like that is a common trend with the guys who are murdering it. Like the 22-year-old, the 21-year-old who's got his window cleaning company doing like 50K a month and 33K of it is recurring cleans.
Yeah.
Like running like 60-something% margins as a kid who just barely could start drinking. Like, or you take it like the roofer who's like, in his 50s and is just like still buying information, learning, whatever else is the same basic trend is guys that like take radical ownership of like everything that happens in the business, find a way to make it my fault and then fix it.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that, who is it? Willenick, Extreme Ownership.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Extreme Ownership, like the Jocko Willenick thing. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, let me segue for just a second. Were you guys jumping on live? Say hello in the comments so that we know you're here, we know who you are, and we can make fun of you. No, so we can pick at you a little bit, and we know who's in the house. So
yeah, Scott McQuaid. Yeah, Scott McQuaid. Why don't you comment and tell everyone your favorite 3 things about me? Do that.
I'm looking forward to that. Okay, good. So let's shift the question. My first question was the how. How'd you grow fast? And I love that you started high level. But what's the why? Why are you doing it?
Yeah, this is gonna maybe ruffle some feathers. I have a hot take on this. I think that the business owners that get in front of a microphone at any stage, whether it's the tech founder or like the home service business guy, when someone asks them their why, and they say, I just started this business to help people. Like, I think that's a complete crock of shit, not to be rude, but this is the honest truth. I think that every business starts with the intent of being a profitable business and making money, and it can help people. But I do not like, and I feel like it's a little disingenuous to say like, I just started this to help people. No, you didn't. You started a business to make money. If you were just trying to help people, you'd be volunteering at the soup kitchen and no one would know your name and you wouldn't have an EIN. Right. So with that being said, I started the business because I hated doing sales and I wanted to make money and I wanted to have freedom. I had a sales job. I was decent at it, but like I wanted to jump off a building every day. Yeah. But very quickly, once I got out of the truck, I was like, oh, wow, like this feels pretty good. Like my employee just like paid his way through school with like the salary that of the thing that I created out of thin air. Like that's really rewarding. Or like, we do the pro bono houses every year with Christmas lights. That's like, the lady with cancer or something like that, that like, we don't advertise, we just do it, like that kind of thing. And so what happened with me was like, it started with, I guess, like selfish reasons, for lack of a better term. Selfish isn't fair. It's just like, we're all trying to make a living, but it evolved very quickly into like, there's a lot of whys baked in. And so now it's like, we have at peak season, we have about 30 employees now. Like a lot of those are part-time. So I don't want to pretend that I have like 30 full-time guys. That doesn't make sense. But a lot of those installers are part-time. But what's interesting is like my director of operations, Jack in Valley Christmas, who he actually owns 50% of the permanent lighting business. Like he was my first employee ever. Like he's a college kid. He was my employee. He was my employee when he was a sophomore in college, like in year 1, maybe year 1 or 2. And now he's director of operations. Like him and his wife just got into a new spot. Like, oh, they got a dog. Like he graduated college and was like, I actually just want to hitch my wagon to this. Yeah. And so like, that's incredibly rewarding. And it sounds like a little self-praising or whatever, but that's just the God's honest truth. But then like outside of it, my why, even just like more selfishly, is like, I couldn't imagine a life that like didn't feel like a video game. And like this, just like owning a business and scaling it quite simply feels like playing an RPG video game. It's like, you are leveling up this skill, right? And then you make a little bit more money in the business. You can buy the better equipment. And now you have more ability to do this. So like, I was a nerd as a kid, still am, but I just don't play video games anymore. But like, it's like when you're going in a video game and you go to fight the dragon in your first hour of playing it and it kills you instantly. And then you level up, you go back and you know, kick the living, out of the dragon. It's like, you got better, you got the better sword, you got the better else. Like, I view that in the way I run my business and the way I live my life. Like, exercise is like very much leveling up, like the business, fixing things, better systems. It's just like leveling it up. And that just like gamifies everything to me. I know it sounds kind of corny, but like, that's just what works for me.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I mean, you probably get a fair share of regular, like your real live dopamine, not the micro dopamine bullshit from scrolling on Instagram. You're like, yeah, I know you're on social media, but you're probably not busy just watching everybody else live. You're like, I'm in the game, man. I am here to play the game. Let's go.
I will admit, I have a big problem. My screen time is out of control. Like, I had to get that brick. Cause like, if you catch me at night and it's like 7 p.m. and everything's done, I will doom scroll for 5 hours straight. It's very unhealthy. So I'm fixing it. I got the brick where you have to tap your phone on the brick to unlock the app. So like, so before I get in bed, I like brick my phone so that I do, unfortunately, I can't lie. I do have a problem with screen time, but I'm fixing it. I'm in the middle of fixing it. I've got it down by an average of like 2-3 hours a day from before I got the brick. So that's good.
Damn. Okay. That's good. Okay. Let's see what Scott said. You asked for an opinion because you want the truth. You give honest feedback and shit. That's all. He didn't have 3.
There you go. That's good enough. If Scott can't scramble to find 3, that makes me feel bad because Scott, I could say 10 great things about Scott. I could actually say Scott McQuaid, if I was not friends with my competitor, Scott McQuaid, between year 2 and 3, I would have gone out of business. Plain and simple. Scott, like McQuaid, 100% like kept me in business. And I was like his competitor, but like he gave me some sauce for free when I was in a pretty down and out spot. Like I will always give Scott McQuaid his flowers. Scott, like, and his business is way bigger than mine, but he helped me a lot when he did not have to. So I will always give Scott his flowers for that.
That's very cool. Yeah, that's very cool. And it's interesting that's part of the premise of the huge convention. And you're going to be speaking this year is collaboration, not competition. Like, we all have competitors, but I always try in my own home market, like, let me figure out how me and my competitors can collaborate. Like, how do we help each other? Because they do shit I don't do. I do shit they don't do. We should help each other. Or, I don't know what Scott did with you, but it's really a ton of better to just help one another out and not be a dick about it.
Yeah, Scott was like above and beyond. Like, my brother passed away that season and like the business basically fell apart. And Scott, he kept the wheels turning for me. Like, I was about to, like, I was telling him, I remember standing in Scott's office at his place and was like, I don't think I can do this. And that was like year 2. Yeah. So, I mean, for real, like, that is like it was much more than just like giving competitors advice. But I'll say, like, since I've been making content, I actually I'm friendly with my local competitors, but like, they're getting a lot of sauce for free. Like, Scott's probably the only 1 or 2 that I talk to. Like, I don't want to like go hang out with the other installers. Not that I don't like them or I think they're bad or whatever. I just I put so much stuff on the internet that's like pretty good sauce, like marketing wise and everything else. And then I see my local competitors doing it and I'm like, I made my own bed, but like, dude, I will see and then not Scott, like other competitors that I will not name. I will see my like Facebook ads, like my videos, like word for word, bar for bar, exactly copied in my own market. And then I'll also see them now nationwide. Like I will see guys that like in Miami where it's like, they didn't even attempt to like throw it in chat GPT and change my script. Like,
they just reread it
word for word, but that's just part of it. I mean, I'm putting myself out there on the internet, so it just happens. It's whatever. Yeah,
that's true. What Scott said. Well, I agree. Yeah. We got to help each other out.
Yeah.
So a quick question for you. We'll go light and then we'll go deeper. But did you end up getting some racks, some shelving units for your tubs?
You're gonna air me out on here.
Well, you put it online. I saw the photo and I was like, man, if that thing hadn't been right there, holy moly!
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny.
Yeah. So So we are in Arizona, and we like our unit is not climate controlled, which really doesn't matter because in Christmas season, by the time we're actually in it actively in the warehouse, it doesn't matter. But we stacked up all of our totes like a little too high. And to be fair, Jack, my director of operations in Valley Christmas, co-owner in the permanent lighting business, he even said like, dude, we should get some racks. And I was like, come on, like just stack them up. And then like, he was like, all right, man. And so it was my fault. But yeah, they melt, like they just got warm enough to like become malleable. And then like we have like a leaning tower of bins in our, I think Jack fixed it though. I have to ask him, but I don't go to the warehouse much, but I think he fixed it.
No, it was too funny. When I saw that, I was like, oh.
Yeah, not great. Like if that door wasn't there, like it would have killed somebody walking in.
Oh man. All right. So let's zoom back out and look ahead. What if your crystal ball or whatever, what's your vision or what's your goal for the next 3 to 5 years? Because you're moving fast now, but that just opens up the vistas.
Yeah. Like X's and O's wise, I'm really like, again, because of the people I get to talk to, like one thing I've noticed that's really clear is the bigger and more successful the business owner is, and like give the flowers to the guys who have done it before me. Like I'm still very new to this. Is like talking about the revenue number is very much a low man's game. And like all the guys I talk to,
man.
Yeah, all the guys but it's really funny because like all the guys I talk to that have the massive exits, like we just had Cam Bowden from Green Mango come talk to Home Service Accelerator on our group call. Yeah. And like he I don't think he mentioned revenue, top line revenue once. And that's the massive number. Like they were throwing around like mid 8 figure, like low 8 figures, and it wasn't with a 1 in revenue a year. And he doesn't talk about that. All he talks about is like EBITDA margins. Yeah. And like as we kept going, I noticed that like even before that, I was like, hey, it's really not about like, even I came to this conclusion myself in like year 4. But when I was young and like really stupid, it was like top line was like the vanity number. I just wanted growth. And we would have profit at the end of the year, but there was just so much waste, so much waste. And it just comes down to like not knowing your numbers. And so now like the growth is pretty much happening naturally for us because I'm naturally a marketing and sales guy. So like, I mean, I have a business that sells high ticket online. That certainly helps making your sales processes for for the Christmas light business too. Like just coming from that background of like one-on-one convincing someone through a computer screen that you're worth a couple $1,000s is an extremely hard skill to grasp. Right. And so we took a lot of those principles that like speed to lead, follow-up, automations, scale marketing spend until it breaks, like all of that stuff we brought into the business. And then like, it just becomes a math equation for me now with growth where like, I don't really have much guesswork anymore. So we expect to grow the top line by about 250 to 300,000 more in sales on the temporary. And then we've added permanent, and permanent's like, we're definitely not going to push it as hard as temporary right now because the temporary is so big, but we wanted to offer it in the peak season so that they didn't just call a competitor. Cause like they're getting a temp quote and they were interested in permanent. We might as well have had it. Yeah. And so we'll do that. But the goal now is like heavy emphasis on efficiency, like heavy emphasis on performance pay for my installers and my crew leads, heavy emphasis on like, this is exactly what the budget is for this. This is exactly what the budget is for this. Like, how can I make this a foolproof math equation? And then just like, now my job really is just like, I manage managers and like, I just manage systems. So like, we just had our leadership call for kicking off this year earlier this week. And it's like, we're starting to act like a business, which like feels weird to me. Like installers do not come direct to me with questions. They go to their lead and they go to Jack. And like, that's hard for me. And I told my team like, hey, I'm not doing this because it's like a vanity thing where I don't want to talk to the installers. It's like, it's the tactical way to do it. Like we have to have systems and processes because like one thing that happened with us that we learned. So if anybody's newer listening and they're like getting multiple crews going, one thing that's really hard is when you get that first leadership position, but all of the other employees are used to coming to the owner. Yeah. What happens is like a lot of the time they go around their actual direct report and go straight to use the owner. Yep. And then you're in this like weird spot because then it's like, they don't respect that position right away because they used to like, he used to be their peer or whatever it was. And so there's a little bit of that. And so that's something that's like been really interesting for us to go through like operationally is like, we're not small. Like we're not just like we're not just like throwing lights on houses anymore. Like there's a lot of moving parts. So that emphasis, like And then the biggest one, and this is what I got from like a lot of the Tommy Mello content, is like, I think we did a really bad job with culture. Not that like people hated working there, but like everyone loved working for us. But like, as far as culture, like when you talk to these massive guys, like guys that, you know, like build these businesses with like 120 trucks on the road, 200 something trucks on the road. It's like their emphasis on culture and like giving employees a clear roadmap for growth that's not just like making them a time clock puncher is a huge emphasis for us this year too. Like massive. Like as far as Jack, like our director of operations job, that's like his biggest, that's all he talks about right now is like, it's culture, it's culture, it's culture. Like we're like employee of the week stuff, like gift card for it, like competitions, all of this stuff. That's like, how do we really like make people excited to come to work and not just like attrit, if attrit's a word, have attrition of, 10 installers by November, then you're scrambling because they're just burnt out.
So with you and Jack, I mean, how did you guys step back and like, what did you do and how did you define and refine your culture?
Yeah, so Jack would be much better to talk about that. I told Jack like I'm big into like own this, make this your baby. I don't want to tell you what to do. Like you're the director of operations. Yeah. All of that culture is going to come to you. And so we actually got him Tommy Mello's book. We got him a bunch of resources like for that. And he's just been running with it since then. And so like a lot of his stuff, like it was performance pay based, like culture based, like cool stuff around like budget, like coming to me and the office staff for like, I want budget for snacks for the guys, like stuff like this. A lot of just like, but the other thing that's like a little bit more tactical is like employees having the perception of organization in the business. Like before we used to just throw guys in and like hope they sign their I-9s and we verified them and everything was great. And like, but what happens is like, the more they come into what feels like an organized operation, the more they're going to naturally kind of perform and fall into that. Yeah. The closer guys feel like, oh, it's just like a bunch of dudes going around throwing lights on houses. Like it's pretty ragtaggy. We're running back to the warehouse 6 times because we have bad systems and forgot stuff. Like the more you can avoid that and make it feel like an actual business, like it's a lot clearer for the guys that like, it's still a job, even though you're just hanging Christmas lights. You're not just hanging Christmas lights. It's a job, Yeah. And so that kind of happens too. Cause like, kind of like a little, like, you don't want to let the inmates run the prison for like lack of a better term. And like the less organized you are, the more they're just like, oh, they won't care if I show up 20 minutes late. They show up 15 minutes late because they forgot something sometimes.
Yeah, 100%.
So like expectations is like the clear thing.
That true. And one of the biggest challenges that is a perpetual challenge for the small business or businesses is hiring good people, finding A players, keeping A players. And if like A players want a place that is run like an A player business. Right. So like you're real performers. If you're ragtaggy for too long, they're just going to go somewhere else. Like,
yeah. And I've been really good. I've been really good at doing that with managers and like directors. I've been like, we just haven't been able to get that down to like the crews because it's just like, it's been so new to us. It's like, especially on Christmas, it's like when you grow at the rate that we did, like it's an entirely different business the next year. So what's interesting is like my leadership positions have been with me like for 3 to 4 years.
That's really good.
So like Jack has my main sales guy's been with me since 2021. Like our office staff has been with us for 2 years now. So like I've done a decent job. I've done a lot wrong clearly, but I've done a decent job at like managing managers and like setting expectations of like growth mindset with them. But the new challenge is like, how do we get that same level of accountability all the way down the chain? So that's kind of been the fun challenge.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's looking at the holiday lighting, as a business, as a season. It's hyper seasonal. Mm-hmm. It's like you got kind of like landscaping in the summer. They called it the 100 days of hell, and you've got about 100 days of hell once you've built a business that's mature. Usually like
not even in Christmas. We got 56 in Christmas or something like that.
Yeah. Usually like going bonkers hard. So how do you manage your labor? Because you got short-term, high intensity, but this is not a year-round job for most of you guys. And then how do you manage your, like last year you did 800K in installs. This year, maybe you don't know exactly how much. You've got a plan, you got a vision, like this is what we're going to do. But like, how do you anticipate and plan with your cash flow for the materials you need? Like, when did you buy all the extra shit that you're going to install this year so you get the best price? How are you planning that?
Yeah, a lot of
There's
it.
2 questions. Yeah.
Yeah. So like as far as planning goes for that, like planning for the next season, um, it's actually kind of interesting. It becomes easier to plan the bigger you get because it's more predictable, like just the more time you have. And it's not like, and I understand that I'm coming from like a lot of the guys that come to Huge are like just starting a Christmas light business. So like I understand that. Like I was doing that I was in that stage 3 years ago. It's like planning. I don't even know what we're going to do in sales next year. How am I supposed to budget for marketing and product and everything like that?
Yeah.
But now it's like, especially with last year, like we have like crystal clear idea of like, okay, this is how much I bought in product. This is how much new stuff we installed. This is how much we have in inventory. And then it's like for marketing, it's like, I'm going to keep cranking 15% of top line in marketing. And like now this year, because it's like, I want more margin, I have the data to actually do that. And so I said, okay, we're raising prices. But because I'm raising prices, I'm also cranking marketing spend.
Yeah.
Like that's an equation that makes sense because I can predict what close rate is with pretty good confidence now with my closers. Our average ticket's really high. So I had the conversation with the sales leadership where I said, hey, you have 2 choices here. We can keep the pricing the same and you can have less deals to sell. Or I can raise the prices by 25, 30% on some products. And I can then predictably add another 15 to 20K into marketing.
Okay. Yeah.
And then now you have, so what would you prefer, to sell stuff at $12 a foot? Or would you prefer to sell stuff at $10 a foot and then have less quotes to get out to? You want to sell stuff at 12 to 13, $14 a foot and have an unlimited amount of quotes.
You're gonna have a ton more leads. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's like, it's so funny because like we have no problem generating leads, but I'm like, I look at the data last year and I'm like, I still could have spent a lot more on advertising. And then knowing the math behind it, like it's just when you know, like when you get into the nitty gritty of like your close rate last year and like what sales rep A did and what sales rep B did and what close rate was in October and November and all that jazz, like it's way more predictable. And then the product is just simple because now it's like, okay, if we want to grow by 250, 300K in top line and temporary this year, I grew by 400 something last year after attrition. It was like 400 something of new business. I think 400, it's like 440 something K of new business last year. And then returners and upsells made up the other 300 something. And so now it's like, okay, I know exactly how much product I need to buy to do that growth. Now it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be pretty damn close. So that money's set aside. We've gotten pretty aggressive with renewals. So I think we've got 160. I can pull up Jobber. I think it's like 160K of reinstalls deposited already in August. So that number will be, by the time we get to Christmas, like that number will be probably 350 to 400 in October. And then the last minute stragglers who try to ghost and try to play tough, like we'll probably get up to like we estimate that we'll probably retain of that 800,000 last year, probably retain about 600 to 625 roughly. Yeah. Which some people say that's not great, which I agree it's not great. But you have to understand there's nuance to the Arizona market when you sell high ticket residential in the really ultra wealthy area. My situation's a little bit different. Like I think we can get better at churn, but it's also like we have undeserved churn, for lack of a better term, where like we reach out to, customer that has 4 houses in the country and they're like, oh, we're Christmasing in Chicago this year, so we're out. And they're like a $15,000 job. Yeah. And we're like, we didn't do anything operationally to lose that job. Yeah. Like that's actually really interestingly like a detriment to selling to the ultra wealthy in a secondary market like Phoenix. Yeah. Yeah. Because that's like, interesting. We had like a 2 years ago, it was like an $18,000 residential job and they love us. They think we walk on water. And then last year they're like, oh, we're going to our cabin in Big Sky, Montana this year. So we're out, but put us down for next year. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, but I'm trying to play cool. Like, oh, totally love you next year. And I'm like, dude, that's a huge chunk lost from just like nothing we could control. But
their cabin up here is probably like we've got a couple of customers that have the big cabin here, and it's the vacation home. But like they're here 2 weeks. It's it's 14,000 square feet. It was an $18 million build, and they're here 2 weeks. And I'm like, I celebrate that. I think it's awesome. But
if you got it, do it 100%. You go do your thing. It just makes me sad.
Jay asked, and you've been in business 5 years. It's your 6th season.
Yeah, this season will be our 6th season.
6th season. Okay.
Yep. What's up, Jay? Welcome in, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go hard for that 90 to 100 days, whatever. As you're scaling and growing, and you've got to have enough labor. Like, are you recruiting your labor? Are you marketing for labor the same way you market for new customers with the same intensity, not the same way? But
more. So like I'm a firm believer that like the Alex Hormozy, like every single answer you're looking for from the marketing side and lead gen side comes from just an egregious amount of volume. Like it's not like, so if you're talking yard signs, like, oh, you don't do 50 yard signs and sell 100K. You add a zero and then you test. And then you might even go up like, and so just with that same volume and the same things with Facebook. Like if I'm cranking leads with Facebook at $75 a day, I'm cranking that thing to 100. And then when it's working at 100, I'm cranking it to 125. Yeah. I'm cranking that to 150 if it's working until it breaks. And then we go on to something else. And so with that in mind, like that's just pure, like most people severely underestimate the amount of volume it takes to do crazy numbers on the marketing side, which is scary because usually that costs a little bit of money before you recoup it back. But that same mindset is exactly how we have to hire. So it's like, we're hiring a new closer this year, like a new sales guy, like an in-person salesperson. We'll probably return maybe 12 installers and then 2 leadership guys. And then we'll backfill some crew leads, all that jazz. And so like what I tell my team is like, this is the same thing that I do with marketing. You don't interview one guy off Indeed and just like imagine that's your install lead. Yeah. Like you're booking probably like 30, 40, 50 group interviews to grab 5 employees, like 6 employees, depending on the position. And so even with sales, it's the same thing. Like I was telling Kyle, my head of sales, I was like, dude, these are your guys. Like the expectation is by, I think our date was like by September 1st, you need to have the 2 closers booked. And I told him like, dude, you're not interviewing 2 people. You're interviewing probably 50, like 60 to find these 2. Yeah. And so it's just every result is on the other side of volume. And so like what I push back at with some guys is like, you never hear the massive businesses talk about like no one wants to work anymore. You only hear the guys that are in the Facebook groups still on the truck at 55 years old, bitching and moaning about it, saying no one wants to work anymore. It's like, no one wants to work for you. And maybe it's a volume thing, or maybe it's a culture thing. Maybe it's a pay thing. Maybe it's all 3. Yeah. But that's seemingly been what works for us. So to get tactical for if there's any Christmas light guys or home service guys on here, what we do is a lot of our installers are college labor. Like a lot of them are college labor. Yeah. And so what we do is once we get a couple of them, which now we have like 12 college kids or 15 college kids coming back. I have to see the numbers. We'll ascend some of those guys into a little bit more leadership roles. So into that rover role where they do like installs some days, but then they can also potentially lead a crew some other days and kind of like go up to a crew lead. That's like kind of the tier is like baseline install, like apprentice installer, full-time installer, rover, crew lead. And so like from there, it's like what we do to get these employees at such a rapid rate in such a small period of time is we go to these employees and we say like, hey, you're in college, you got friends. Like, do not vet them. Just bring us bodies. And for every body that you bring us that ends up working for us with 2 pay periods, so they make it through training in a pay period, we'll give you $100. So it's a college kid that's making $20 an hour. Now he's getting a $100 bonus to invite his friends to come work with him. Pretty good money. And so, but the key is like for people that have maybe tried that in the past, one thing that happened with us that was like a really nuanced thing that I want to make sure I hit on is you don't just leave it at that with your current employees, because what your current employees will do is they'll be afraid to bring you guys they don't know very well because they're afraid that if they don't work out, it'll be a reflection on them. Yeah. And so what we say to them is, hey, you bring us them, we will interview them and decide if they're an employee, whether they are the greatest installer rock star ever, that's fantastic, or they're a crackhead and we had to kick them off because they were doing drugs in the truck. None of that is a reflection on you. So you just bring us in. It's our job to hire them. Whatever that happens with that employee does not change your standing with the company at all. The second we started saying that, it was endless referrals. Okay. Endless referrals.
That's cool. That I put your website up. Is that correct? Home Service Accelerator.
Yeah, that's like that'll be like bring them to our landing page. It's like very like social media, YouTube driven, so it's fine. That's great. Okay. And I did that because Jay said, "Hey, you coach and mentor others, and I want to make sure you get a resource." Was there a better resource you could put up? I say coach and course is the 2 C words that I don't like to use. So like I don't think that I'm in a position to coach, like in terms of like, this is how to get your business to $10 million. Like what Home Service Accelerator is all marketing and sales processes. And then a really like high level community of home service business owners of all kinds. So there's a ton of Christmas light guys in there, permanent lighting guys in there, roofing guys in there. But like what we do is like the exact systems that I built in my businesses to scale pretty rapidly digitally without door knocking ever. Yeah. We've never knocked a single door ever. Like what we do is like we pretty early on, I was like, does this work in other trades? And so when I started Home Service Accelerator, I was like, well, let me just like help this window cleaner. And we brought this like window cleaner who actually works for me now. And we got his window cleaning company from like $3,500 a month to like by month 3 or 4, he was doing like 35, 40K in top line at like 50% margins, like as like a 20 something year old. And then we started working with roofers, and then we started working with plumbers and electricians and pressure washers and exterior cleaners. And pretty quick, I was like, oh, they like my marketing systems and stuff like that. Like they don't need to pay an agency to run their Facebook ads if they don't want to.
Yeah.
Like there's some good agencies out there, but like a lot of time, like Facebook now algorithmically is so easy to run ads yourself. I don't really think you need to pay an agency unless your business is doing like good numbers where the agency fee is very small compared to what your spend is on that platform. So like if you want to spend $20 a day on Facebook ads and the agency is going to charge you $1,000 a month to run your ads, don't sign up with them. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right. Because like $20 a day times 30 days a month is what, $600 a month? Is that math right?
Something like that. Yeah, that's right.
Is that math right? I don't want to misspeak.
Yeah.
Let's do some math. Yeah, $600. Yeah. So that's like you're spending more on management than you are on running ads, where it's like I could have my Husky run ads with $50 a day and he'd run circles around an agency that was just running at 20.
Yeah, you're just not getting enough ad spend.
Yeah. And so, yeah, basically like to answer, I think his name's Jay, the thing popped, the thing went away. It's like my system is very like sales, marketing, back-end systems heavy. I don't pretend to be the guy that's going to get you to 10 million. I don't pretend to be the guy that's going to get you to $1 million, because I just hit $1 million for the first time with Christmas and permanent. Like we've in a year we're at $1 million top line at good margins. And so like I feel like the space of coaching is very convoluted with guys who get their business to a certain state, and then instead of crushing through the next tier, they like go chase the easy internet money and try to be a coach.
Yeah.
And so like I really push away from that. And so like all we do is marketing and sales and operations. There's a coaching and like operations, like very, very like surface level. But it's like there's a coaching element to it just by nature of like I'm on calls with these guys in group call settings for an hour a week. And then we have a dedicated Facebook ad and Instagram ad call for an hour a week to like optimize people's campaign. Naturally, people are going to ask me questions about like, how did you hire these guys? How did you hire? Like, how did you scale here? What did you do here operationally? And I'll share that. But like, I just don't feel like in good conscience, I can sit there and be like, yeah, I'm going to coach you to a number that I haven't hit yet.
Yeah.
You know, but what's actually interesting from a business perspective there is it actually has worked in my favor, because we have guys buy Home Service Accelerator with businesses way bigger than mine, because I'm not trying to coach them.
Yeah. And you've got something that you are really good at that they can learn from.
Yeah. So I would say it's more like productized coaching and systems. Like it's very productized. Like when someone joins, we take a one-on-one call with them and build a Facebook ad campaign with them from scratch, record it, use AI, all of this stuff. And then they have an SOP to go build their own Facebook ads every single time for the rest of their business's existence from there. And then we support them the entire way with the group call settings and like support and Discord and all that.
That's really cool. The way, like when you start off, it's not just theory or study this and watch the videos and do all the shit until you get to where you just don't do it. And
like the interesting thing is like, as it's gotten bigger, like Home Service Accelerator is a pretty big business now. Like we have, I think 8 employees in that business, sales guys, a support staff, like videographers, like all this stuff. Right. Yeah. And so what's kind of funny is like people that have bigger businesses than me are like, are you going to sell the Christmas light business? Cause like this, like, the whole thing is hyper focus.
Yeah.
But like, I can't become the dinosaur as I'm the marketing and sales guy saying, this is what I'm doing. Let's keep doing it. Because like, if I'm out of the game and don't have a home service business for like a year or two, then my stuff I'm saying is going to be extremely irrelevant.
It ages
very
fast.
quickly.
Yeah.
Very quick.
Well, on a real nuts and bolts world, for seasonal holiday lighting, like when is how soon is too early to start marketing hard? Is it too early now?
No,
July?
some guys get some success in August. We'll sell organic right now. Renewals and organic. We're not running ads. We're running permanent lighting ads right now.
Yeah.
Because we were actually able to sell permanent all off season at like a decent clip, a clip that I was pleased with.
Were you surprised?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Extremely. July got a little slow. But like May, we cranked. I think we sold like 12 or 13 in May.
Really?
And so I was like, what? Like, is this going to keep up? July got a little slower. But then August has like, we're starting to see, you know, once the travel stops and people just are used to the fact that it's 110 degrees outside, it's gotten better. It's very hard to talk about Christmas when it's 110 degrees outside.
Yeah, no kidding. When I wonder, was May like people got to get this permanent lights up so they have the Mother's Day lighting seasonality? What's the color for Mother's Day?
We got really good results from a Father's Day ad campaign.
Really?
Yeah, it was interesting.
Oh, that's cool.
It was like we ran ads that were like, did you know that the most dangerous thing that a person can do at their home is hang Christmas lights? Like, maybe this is a good Father's Day gift. And it was like a really good lead generator for that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. We run a lot of like funny, I like running funny ads. So like ads where like we're tied up in a chair like a hostage with like Christmas lights tied around our wrists, and it's like, is hanging Christmas lights every year keeping you hostage? Like, come reach out to Valley Premier and check out our smart track lighting system and stuff like that. And those seem to perform pretty well.
Very cool. Do you know Paul Baluch? Baluch. He's got a holiday light training company. He was one of the core reasons that 1-800-GOT-JUNK went from 10 million a year to 100 million a year in revenue. He's like a super smart systems guy, and he spoke at the Huge last year. He'll be there again this year.
Okay.
I was talking to him recently, and he was telling me about, like, it's unusual to go to 800,000 or a million in 4 or 5 years. It's really unusual for somebody to start in holiday lights and go from 0 to 1 million in season one.
Oh,
and yeah. And he was telling me about the specific company in the Minneapolis area. So they got a generous and big market, but they went their first year, and they're a power washing company, so they have client lists. They didn't start from zero.
Okay,
but
regardless, still
first
incredibly
year,
impressive.
They had 1.2. Second year, they did slightly over 2 million. Last year, they were over 3 million in their business, and they're pushing for 5 this season. This is their 4th season, and but all things considered, they're going to flesh over a $4 million mark. And I'm like, that's a unicorn. Do you know anybody that's doing that? Anybody else you've seen that's like really pushing substantial numbers like that? Like you're in that trajectory because you're treating it like a business, not a giant chaotic hustle.
Well, to speak to that guy, whoever that guy is probably one of the more impressive business operators in home services as a whole. To be able to like learn that fast in a short period of time is really, like, to do that kind of scale is really impressive. So whoever that dude is, that's insane. You know what's interesting is like the industry has grown so much over the years. Like when I was doing a lot of stuff with like Christmas light contractors, all the other guys like around some of the other companies like HBL and some of the other ones. Like I was kind of like the young guy who figured it out. Like we did like 98K, and I would always brag that we did 100. I would round up, right? My first year, like we did like 98K in top line, probably terrible margins. I don't even have the tracking to go back and look. But like I was kind of like, like the impressive young guy a little bit in that sense. And I'm not saying that to brag or anything. Like back then, like there was very few guys that did it. And then the second year we did like, 250K in top line, still terrible margins because that's just how it worked. And so what's interesting is like now I see these dudes where like I thought I was cool doing 100K because it was my first business. I thought that was amazing, and again, here I am talking about top line, but that's because I literally don't know what the bottom line was that year. Probably like 15-20% margins if we're being honest. But like I see some of these guys now that have like gutter cleaning businesses. Like there's a dude, Tim Crouch, I think his name is. He's a gutter guy. I think his name's Tim Crouch. I met him at a training a few years ago. I think he did like 300K in his first year or like some crazy number like that. And I've always been like so impressed with that. And then there's like with the permanent lighting now, unfortunately, like it's like the difference in the NFL when like there's a 17 game season now and like Barry Sanders records were in 15 games or something like that, or 16 games. And so it's like permanent lighting's kind of changed the top line number a little bit, where like now a young guy can do permanent and sell it for $30 a foot, and like a 6-figure first year is like pretty within reason.
Yeah.
If your average ticket's 5-6K, you're selling, 20 of them and like you're there, so that's changed a little bit. But like to go back to your question, like guys that are killing it, like there's 2 guys in my market who got into the commercial game pretty hard and they are murdering it. Like CLD, like Christmas light decorators, like he's in my market and their business is massive. Like they take entire bus loads of crew to Seattle to do commercial installs out there with like some mega mall. And then like Scott, who we talked about earlier, like Scott has massive commercial contracts that I don't even want. Like, I wanted to keep the main thing. And I even told Scott, like, I don't think I want to go after commercial for a while. And I'll tell you when I do, like we have some smaller commercial jobs, but like our model is super high margin residential in the high end areas. And until I feel like we're peaking there, I'm not going to make any changes. Just keep the main thing, simple scales. But like I've heard rumors about this guy in Houston who's doing like 8 figures a year pretty aggressively. Yeah. And I've heard like about guys in Omaha, like there's a guy in Omaha who is crushing. But as far as like, this is the God's honest truth. And I made a tweet about this that kind of blew up a few weeks ago, or an X post, whatever you want to call it. Was it. Yeah. I said like, here's the harsh reality for you guys that spend all your time in Facebook groups. 90% of that advice is hot garbage because the dudes murdering it are not giving their sauce in a free Facebook group.
That is
like the dudes really killing it. Like, sure, there's some guys in there that are like, some old souls that want to help out the young guys and they probably built really substantial business. I'm not saying it's 100%, but like, dude, you're not like in the junk industry, for example. Brian Scudamore was not hopping in to Facebook groups, giving the sauce from 1-800-GOT-JUNK and how they mega scaled and all of their marketing sauce.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going in Facebook groups and being like, this is exactly what to say to compete with me in Christmas lights. Like, I'm not. In my program, I will. Like, I'll give a lot more sauce in my program. But like, I think that's like a really common thing is like the good guys, like the ones who are murdering, are not giving away their secrets for free.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like, you'll definitely meet 1 or 2 of them at the huge, but some of the guys that are like, we've got one guy, he does not like to get on stage. We've convinced him to get on stage and do a TED Talk this year because he's like, he likes to run businesses and he's behind the scenes building leadership and building, like, he thinks at a level where like his thing is not how do I build systems, like how do I find the right CEO and pay them enough so they build the systems and they hire the operator and they run the shit. And he went from, very quickly in 8 years from, they got to about $1 million in revenue. He was asked to speak. That's the last time he's spoken on stage 8 years ago. Now their companies run about 48 million. But
in Christmas lights?
No, multiple. He's got multiple companies. He's got, not. I think one of them probably does Christmas lights, but they're in several different industries now. But he's busy in the background building an empire. Yeah. And I don't even think he has a Facebook account or anything. Like, he's like, I don't have time for that. I'm building stuff and building relationships.
Yeah. It's like, it's really interesting for me, like, as I go into kind of the next stage of this whole thing, is like, one of the things that I've noticed is like incredibly impactful to me because of like when I interview people on YouTube, when I bring people into the group to talk, like, again, I talked about at the beginning, like because of the tiny bit of niche social media presence that I've started to build, and very small, but niched, I've just got access to these guys. And what's started to happen to me by proximity of these dudes is like, they're, 10, 15, 20 years older than me, sometimes even older. Yeah. But like, they just speak in larger numbers. Like the way that like I communicate with my peers at the same level is like, we talk in high 6, low 7-figure numbers. Yeah. And then like, I hate to be like a name dropper, but like, it's going to come out. It's very applicable for this. Like, I went to a concert last weekend with my friend, like one of my best friends and his wife, and they're friends with like Tommy Mello and his wife Bree or whoever. Yeah. And like, young guy in home services, of course, I'm like, that's like very cool for me. Like to just meet him. And what was so wild was talking to him, he was like incredibly receptive to just like me asking him questions at the lobby of a concert, right? Like it was just like just social. And I left and I was talking to my buddy and I was like, not to like fangirl this dude, but like kind of like 48 laws of power, this thing. Like he's bigger, like he's done it, but I haven't. Like I was like, dude, the dude talked in 8, 9, 10 figures. Like that's how that dude talks.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, he's talking about home services. He's talking about scaling just like we are. But like the language that this dude speaks at is like 8, 9, 10 figure opportunities, like legitimately 10 figure opportunities. I'm not kidding. Like it was like the things coming out of his mouth were crazy. And 10 figures would be $1 billion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, billion. Like, and I left and I was talking to my buddy and I was like, just by proximity to these guys, whether it was him or Cam, the guy that came and talked to the our group the other day, and like I've had the big HVAC guys come on my YouTube channel and all this stuff. I'm like, dude, just proximity to these guys makes me go like, oh, like the problems that I have are like all been dealt with. They're at like the next tier. If someone else got there, like I can get there too.
You can too. Yeah.
And it's just like, it's not this like foo-foo motivation stuff. It's just like proximity to that level of thinking is like invaluable. Yeah. And so it's like at the most humbly smallest scale possible, it's like when I talk to a 20-year-old who has a Christmas light business, like we just brought on a 19-year-old into Home Service Accelerator today. I met him at a conference and he's got a permanent lighting business and a pressure washing business. And he's talking in numbers where I'm kind of like, oh, dude, that's nothing. Like you could get to here really easy. But to him, it's like,
it's a big deal. It's life-changing.
It's a big deal. But like, and so there's just levels to this thing. And like, I'm so on that side still, but like, it's very interesting to like, I'll have a conversation with a guy younger than me and like way less experience with me where I'm kind of laughing at his problems. And then I turn around and have a conversation with these guys and they're laughing at my problems. And so it's just kind of funny, but like the proximity they have, like the rising tide's gonna what is it, raise all boats or
raise all ships.
Yeah.
So something that's really fascinating about that is like you're talking about the proximity, and I've seen this happen at huge conventions. It's not unique to that, but it's like when you're growing and you're like, if whatever your next big goal is, Steve, like whatever it is, like I want to do, I want a $500,000 month in holiday lighting. Mm-hmm. When you get around somebody, like it's possible, but you don't really know it's possible because you haven't experienced it. But then you go to, a live event and you're hanging out and you're talking to a guy at the bar and he's like, oh yeah, we did that 2 years ago. Like, and you just see, you're like, oh God, somebody's actually done it. It's not just my dream. It's happened. And sometimes even that is like nothing else. They don't share a secret or a tip or anything. You're just like knowing that somebody ran the 4-minute mile means that it's possible I can do it too.
That's a really good analogy. Like, yeah, it's like just proximity to guys that do it, make it feel really attainable.
Yeah. And now something that actually is a lot of fun. We'll do this exercise at the huge, it's a 10X future, just like it's a mindset thing we'll do on day one, where you look back at a time where you were doing whatever. Like I remember the first time I did this, we're looking at my first full year in business. I did $56,000 of window cleaning. And I thought I was a king because I'd never heard of that much money in my life. I didn't have anybody in my family that made that much. No, we didn't make that much. That was top line. But then when we did the 10X exercise, it was like, there was a week 2 years ago where we did $56,000 in a week. And I was like, wait a second, it took us a year to do that in my first year in business. How is this even possible? But it didn't seem like a big deal when we did it. It wasn't even, I didn't notice it until I looked at the P&L like a month and a half later. I was like, oh shit, that's kind of a big deal. But you don't think it's a big deal because you grow as it goes. Like,
yeah. And when you're in it, you're like, oh, I'm just in it.
Yeah.
Like you just, yeah.
But we
just like, oh, okay. Yeah. I guess this is where we're at now. It's great.
Yeah. We had last year, Tommy spoke for us at the Huge. He did our feature breakout session. And then I arranged an impromptu, just kind of roundtable with Tommy and about a dozen guys. And like you were saying, like I talk with it 7 figures. He's talking, just not add a zero, but add a comma.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, I guess it's not that much different, is it?
Yeah, but they talk about it so matter of fact that it's just like, it's just the world they're in. Like, it's just like, that's where they're at. Just like, just like a guy who's 19 who's like, oh my gosh, someone just gave me $400 to like clean their windows. Like that's so mind blowing to them. And then once they get it the second time, it's not as mind blowing.
Exactly.
And then it's like, then they get it a third time. It's like just another day at the park.
That's cool. Well, as we wrap up here, what are you going to teach in your breakout session on Friday, the 22nd of August, 2 weeks from tomorrow?
Yeah, mine is like really marketing and system heavy. So mine is going to be like direct blueprint into like, this is like my signage strategy. This is my Facebook ad and Instagram ad marketing strategy. This is how I allocate funds for this. This is our nurture strategy. This is how we operate on speed to lead. Like when I present to anything, like I think I've done 5 this off season, like Christmas light stuff, general like home service stuff, all that. Yeah. Like I really try to like, when I build it, like whatever presentation it is, it's like, it's really not about me like at all. And so like, I have one slide that says like, this is why you should listen to me. This is why you shouldn't. It's like the things I've accomplished, all the things I've screwed up on. And then it's just right into like, all I want you to do from this is take home like 3-4 things you can implement tomorrow into your business and make more money. Sound good? And then it's like ears perk up and they're like, oh, that's great. You know, because like, and it's just like very tactical. Because the other side is like, you know, we've all been at presentations where the guy's up there selling from the stage and you could feel it.
Yeah.
You know,
you feel it coming.
They're just talking about how great they are all the time. And so I just do it in that sense. And then like the only plug I give is like the last slide of my presentation has a QR code to my YouTube channel. So it's like, go subscribe. It's more free stuff. And like, that's it. So yeah, it's super tactical. I've given it a lot. I've revised it for like the huge, but it resonates pretty well with guys. It's just the same thing. They just get proximity to a guy doing it. And they're like, oh, it's that simple. Because a lot of guys know what to do. It's like signage strategy, A-frame strategy, Facebook ad strategy, whatever else, but they just need like the execution of it. Like this is how many signs to order. This is where to order it. This is how to run a Facebook ad. This is what to say in the Facebook ad. Like there's do this, and then there's how to execute on this. I stay in that how to execute realm and like try to dumb it down to like, if a kindergartner was watching this, could they execute on it?
Right. Well, and you do some things that you're like, an example, the A-frame that says elves at work.
Yeah.
But that has like, I haven't seen anybody else do that. And it's very impactful because it stands out now. When everybody's doing it, it'll be less so, but it's like, that's so simple.
Yeah. I'm going to be clear here. I'm going to be clear here though, to give credit to where credit is due. I am not the first guy who did the A-frames.
Well,
like these guys have been doing A-frames for probably 15, 20, 30, maybe even 40 years. But the elves at work thing, I probably stole it from someone else. I don't know. Can't remember. Maybe. I don't know. But I mean, people think I did. Like people think it's mine. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe we did. I don't know what the origin story is, but it definitely works. Definitely works.
Right on. Well, cool. Well, I'm excited that you're coming this year and you're bringing some of your people from the Home Service Accelerator. Some of your students are coming.
Yeah, and I think I have maybe between my staff for my Christmas light business, which I have to talk to you about, by the way, and then my Home Service Accelerator students, I think we'll have probably 15, 20 people there.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a great time to get together in person and like continue to strengthen that bond and build community.
Yeah, I got an Airbnb. Like we were going to stay in the hotel, and then I brought 5 people on my payroll, and I'm like, I'm not buying 5 hotel rooms. So we got an Airbnb. And so we're making like kind of a thing out of it. So I might do like a little cocktail mixer with like my HSA students that are there. And then anyone else who wants to come at like our Airbnb, one of the off nights, and kind of do that, but it'll be a good time. I've never been, so I'm pretty excited.
It's going to be fun. Well, it will be fun.
I've heard good things.
Well, cool. Well, let's land it and wrap it up. I'm going to end the live stream. Hang tight. And I've got a couple questions for you after.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
Dude, of course. Thanks for listening, guys.